All right, class. So just want to give you a heads up on Blade Runner here by director Ridley Scott. It's an adaptation of the book that we're going to be reading next by Philip K. Dick called Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? Although the original title was in Latin, I just can't remember it offhand. Dos Androides, something. Um, okay, so real quick about the author. You may know the author's work if you saw the movie The Adjustment Bureau, The Minority Report, The Man in the High Castle. Amazon's got a series of Philip K. Dick's short stories, each turned into an hour-long episode, kind of like Black Mirror type anthology thing, as well, called some and something Philip K. Dick and Android, something I don't know. The Mindscape of Philip K. Dick. I don't know. Anyways, it's on Amazon. Um, so real quick, Philip K. Dick was schizophrenic. His pretty much his buddies, friends, kind of helped him out his whole life, paying his bills and stuff like that. And so all of his novels are about questioning reality. And if you've seen The Minority Report, or The Adjustment Bureau, or The Man in the High Castle, you understand that. Um, but this film is essentially set in the future where there has, and the book as well, where there has been a nuclear war and there has been some kind of biological warfare within the nukes that has caused all animals to die and everyone to go sterile. So people have been colonizing off-world planets, and there's also been wars on these off-world planets. So a corporation in the book called Rosner and the movie called the Tyrell Corp has started making, replicants. Essentially, they are androids, which means not robots, not mechanical, but they are androids, biological constructs. And it is Harrison Ford's job as a Blade Runner to chase these things down and kill them. When they come back to Earth, they're banned from Earth. And essentially, that's what it's about. All right. So, some things to look for as you watch the film. The focus of this class is predicting how this science fiction predicts the future, not just in the technology, which there's a lot of in this film, but also in the kind of more moral and philosophical ideas. Now, if you've been looking at the content this week, you will see that there has already been genetically designed babies, genetically altered superhumans made to be immune to things like AIDS and flu and stuff like that. And so, a couple of corporations have already started building organisms like mosquitoes and honeybees from the ground up. Now, I'm not talking about cloning. I'm talking about designing the DNA in a lab and growing the creature. Just so you know, this is patented, so that means that like they own that life. So technically, if a corporation, which will have the technology to do so within the next 20, 25 years, can genetically design and grow a human from the ground up, that human is property of that corporation. This is kind of interesting that Philip K. Dick kind of theorized that this could potentially be a possibility in the 1960s, and then all of a sudden in the 2020s, here it is. Some other things to watch for this film is the idea that that the kind of the idea of old technologies planted on new technologies, the way advertising, happens in this thing. Um, the, I mean, wow, there's just so much. There's just so much to look for, and every time I watch this movie, I find something new. Um, for instance, one theme is that the line between what is life and what is a corporate property gets kind of blurred, very heavily. So just to kind of get you, an idea of some of the characters here. let's see, our main character, Harrison Ford, um, is, spoiler alert, is a replicant. He is implanted with Gaff here, which is Edward James Olmos is the actor. Gaff is a detective that was wounded very badly, trying to Blade Runner, bring in, kill replicants. So his memories have been implanted on Deckard. That's how he knows that he dreams of unicorns and leaves them the unicorn origami at the end. He and Deckard are to be compared to each other often, and if you'll notice, Gaff is always creeping around watching him, and he even spares his life and lets him go in the end. All right. You have Roy Batty here. Roy Batty, played by Rutger Hauer, who died not too long ago. The question is he a bad guy or a good guy? It starts off and he seems like he's a murderous thug, but then when you think, hey, this guy's a slave, can we really blame him for killing his slave masters? It kind of blurs the line between, is he a good guy or villain? And he's going to be, used to be compared to Harrison Ford here, our main good guy character, or is he even a good guy? He hunts down these replicants, which we find out he's a replicant himself. So he hunts down his own kind and kills them. But he's kind of forced to, So, you want to look at those characters closely. They're to be compared to each other. All right. Now, Harrison Ford and Roy Batty are also to be compared to Tyrell. Right. If you notice, he was cast to kind of look like Joseph Mengele, who was, a Nazi scientist that did genetic experimentation on people. And he's to be compared to these two characters as well. So I just want to give you a rundown of the characters here. All right. We also have Leon. He's a replicant. He's used to be compared to Harrison Ford. We have Zora, Pris, and Rachel. Okay, these three ladies are all to be compared to each other. In fact, in the book, Rachel and Pris here, the two females on the bottom, the two women on the bottom, are actually identical. They're both replicants and they're identical. And Pris even goes by Rachel's name as a cover. Zora up here, the political assassin bot, she's a little different in the book. She's like an opera singer. In this, she's like a stripper type deal. But, she's kind of to be compared to the other ones too. Pris is, the pleasure model. That was essentially, a robot hooker or an android hooker. All right. Now, Rachel and Rickard, Harrison Ford, are also to be compared a lot. They end up being lovers. You find out in the next movie that they actually have a child, which almost destroys the world. Not the child almost destroys the world. Basically, it's going to create a replicant uprising, but we won't get into that. But these two are kind of be compared to each other because they're both replicants who don't know that they are. All right. Now, J.F. Sebastian, Tyrell, and Chew. One of the things that one of the lectures is going to talk about is that, Tyrell here and his employees here, J.F. Sebastian and Chew, have essentially taken life and made it a commodity. Have made it something that can be manufactured. Chew's shop is on a street corner, meaning that, making eyes for these replicants has been, kind of outsourced to like a bidder. They're not even doing it all in the same corporation. And if you look at the tools and stuff that J.F. Sebastian has on the apron that he wears are the kind of tools that like a puppet maker wears. And so it suggests that life can be owned and manufactured. And so those three characters will be compared to each other. One interesting thing about J.F. Sebastian, who in the book is Istor, is that J.F. Sebastian has a genetic disorder that causes him to age rapidly. He's only like 20 and he looks like he's 65. So he's kind of like the replicants in that they only have like a 4-year lifespan. All right, so I just wanted to show you the characters, to get you ready for the book and give you a little background on the book itself. Okay.